At 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
It's insane. It's risky behavior, and we're just not going to tolerate it here in San Antonio.
A stern warning from San Antonio's police chief following the arrest of 4 teens after police and DPS busted a street takeover event.
Yeah, that's when people block off an intersection to do dangerous stunts with their cars. As the chief tells our Nightbeat's Daniela Ibarra, authorities knew that group was coming.
A stolen car wrecked out just after midnight at a QT on the north side. San Antonio police say covert units had been tracking it for miles. Those units, along with DPS, surveilled a street takeover on the west side, just north of Castroville Road and General McMullen.
We knew, and again, there's different ways that we receive intelligence that they're coming. And last night we knew.
Chief Willie McManus says street takeovers are a major safety threat.
It's a dangerous, foolish, reckless thing to do on public streets or in parking lots, wherever it may be.
McManus says new laws helped police impound 3 cars, all belonging to people charged with street racing.
We are going to take your car, and you're not going to get it back, not to mention that you will be arrested.
And the danger of street takeovers goes beyond the road.
It's dangerous. I mean, it's very, very dangerous. People drinking, carrying guns. Some of the cars that we recover are stolen.
Stolen cars like the one that crashed at the QT. Before the crash, police say they watched someone get out of the car with a weapon and mask and go into another store. That's when police say they started following the car and watched someone toss a handgun out the window. Police arrested 4 people between the ages of 14 and 18. The teens face several charges, including evading arrest with a vehicle. Police also recovered 3 weapons, one of which is stolen. McManus hopes this sting serves as a warning to street racers.
Don't come back, and if you do it at your own peril. We're going to take your car, and you're not going to get it back.
Daniela Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio police also investigating an apartment shooting that sent a 22-year-old man to the hospital. It happened just before midnight at a complex on Starcrest Drive, not far from Perrin Bynum and Loop 410. Police say the man got into an argument with a woman earlier Friday night, and then later on she came back to find him and started shooting at him through a door to his apartment. Investigators say that woman still on the run tonight. The man who was shot is expected to recover.
SAPD also investigating a shooting between a man and an attempted robber inside the Purple Dragon cannabis shop. This happened just after 3 this morning at the store in the 500 block of West Hildebrand. Police say the suspect went into the store and opened fire on the employee, who then pulled out a gun of their own and fired back. Both were hit and were taken to nearby hospitals. At last check, the suspect was in critical condition.
The search is on to find the next director of San Antonio's Animal Care Services. 2023 saw an increase in severe dog attacks and a larger stray animal population. Now residents say they want to see more out of the department. As Night Team's Avery Everett shows us, the city is now accepting applications, and some neighbors hope the candidates are cut out to bring change.
It's more than a crisis.
Driving down the west side, dogs are just about on every corner.
It's just an awful situation.
Some have owners, others are strays.
This has been a hard year, but it's time for an intervention.
In a new year, neighbors say they're dealing with old problems.
The city of San Antonio has a culture of not spaying and neutering, which has created a incident of just a mass amount of dogs running loose.
But now, the search is on to find the new head of Animal Care Services in San Antonio.
I want us to get in the front lines to curtail all this overpopulation of unwanted.
The new year will bring a new director to ACS, and applications for that position are now open. But after a year of multiple dog attacks and high stray counts across the city, animal advocates say this city is ready to see something new.
We need somebody that has done a city before, as big as San Antonio, if not larger, has cleaned that city up, and now we need that person to come in and clean our city up. They have the solutions, we need them.
On the city's application page, the job description emphasizes a need for improving current procedures and developing a strategy that fits San Antonio. We reached out to ACS earlier this week and have yet to hear back over email.
We've definitely seen it.
Just a few weeks ago, we spoke to the current director, Shannon Sims, recapping 2023. He says education and enforcement should always be top of mind.
If I could have every single animal owner in San Antonio do one thing, it's keep your animal on your property.
Sim still has a couple of months left as director. Animal advocates in San Antonio say they're hoping the city considers a wide range of applicants. Because as they see it, strays and animals not being spayed or neutered won't go away.
San Antonio is not a good place for animals. In reality, it isn't. There's so much neglect.
Unless there's new action in this new year. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
And we first spoke to some of the people in Avery's story during our Know My Neighborhood series on Dignowity Hill. In that series, we talked about the stray animal issue on the east side. If you think your neighborhood should be featured in an upcoming episode, you can find details on how to submit your idea by scanning the code on your screen.
What a gorgeous day around San Antonio today. We started off cold, but it ended up being really nice with a high in the upper 60s. We're back to the chill again, but not before I got some beautiful pictures in about the sunset this evening. I'd love to share some of those with you. Here's a look at one of those pictures. This is over Bronig Lake. Thank you to everyone sending in these pictures. This is from Taylor McClelland on our KSAT Connect feature on our weather app. Love this one. Can you get more Texas than this? Cross Mountain, Texas. This is canyons at Scenic Loop, and then love that pup there in the middle there at Phil Hardberger Park. All right, tomorrow we're going to wake up at 37, but it's going to be breezy and 65. Another gorgeous day. Then the changes start. Somewhat damp Monday morning. We'll talk about those rain chances. Very windy Monday and Tuesday. Gusts of up to 50 miles per hour. And I've even got my eye on some Arctic air soon. Those details coming up.
Thank you, Sarah. Now for a look at some of today's big headlines in your Nightbeat News Flash. Former President Donald Trump marked the third anniversary of the January 6th Capitol riot by casting the migrant surge at the border as the, quote, real insurrection. With a little more than a week left until the Iowa caucuses, Trump rallied supporters in the Hawkeye state with his claims that countries have emptied jails and mental institutions to fuel a record surge in migrant crossing, something that has no evidence of being true. Israel and Hezbollah terrorists are trading heavy cross-border fire. The latest shelling comes a day after Hezbollah's leader urged retaliation for the targeted killing of a top Hamas leader in Lebanon's capital earlier this week. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is starting his fourth trip to the Middle East in just 3 months in hopes of preventing further regional confrontation. And 50 million Americans are under winter weather alerts from coast to coast. Up to 6 inches of snow falling in some parts of the Northeast, while another major storm barrels towards the Pacific Northwest. Heavy rainfall was also reported up and down the I-95 corridor south of New York City down to D.C. And that is a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
Still to come on the Nightbeat, nearly 2 weeks ago, a clear alert was sent out to Texans asking them to be on the lookout for Savannah Soto and her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra. In about 30 minutes, we learn more about how the clear system works and what it takes for one to be sent out. Plus, a concerned community, neighbors on edge over fires burning in a nearby scrapyard. An update on our Monterey iron, metal, and recycling coverage and what's being done to put those neighbors' fears to rest.
And getting grounded, more than 150 Boeing 737 MAX planes are no longer clear for takeoff after a cabin door blew off a plane over the Pacific Northwest yesterday. How long they'll stay out of the skies and how it could affect people flying here out of San Antonio. That's next on the Nightbeat.
The Federal Aviation Administration is temporarily grounding some Boeing 737 MAX 9 airplanes after an Alaska Airlines flight lost a part of its window and wall while in midair. The plane had to make an emergency landing, and thankfully everyone made it out of that plane unharmed. ABC's Zoreen Shaw reports on the near disaster.
A frightening moment for passengers. An Alaskan airline flight flying with a section of its fuselage missing mid-air.
Something rushed into the cabin and then rushed out.
Shortly after Flight 1282 took off from Portland International Airport bound for Ontario, California, an emergency in the air. A large hole developed in the fuselage, causing cabin depressurization, forcing the pilots to turn around with 171 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Oxygen masks were immediately lowered. Passengers recorded that part of the plane was suddenly gone.
We are Air emergency. We are depressurized. We do need to return back to. We have 177 passengers.
Passengers say they were terrified.
In the moment, a lot of tears. I just didn't know what was going on. And I just feel the plane drop. And it wasn't like any other turbulence just because the masks had came down too. So that's when I knew, like, oh gosh, this is something way different. And yeah, I started freaking out.
The plane landed safely in Portland with no injuries reported. The airline telling ABC News, the safety of our guests and employees is always our primary priority. So while this type of occurrence is rare, our flight crew was trained and prepared to safely manage the situation. A team from the NTSB will be looking into what caused this incident.
One of the questions here for the investigators is going to be, was that a mechanical failure or was that some failure in maintenance?
The FAA says about 170 Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes operated by U.S.-based airlines will be grounded. Alaska Airlines had already taken the precautionary step of grounding its 65 737 MAX. All the planes will be inspected before they can return to service. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
We checked, and right now only one daily flight out of San Antonio International has been affected. That is the daily Alaskan Airlines flight to Seattle, which is typically flown in a Boeing 737 MAX.
Well, if you saw a convoy of cars escorted by police on I-35 today, those hot rods were up to some good. Wheels and Wishes rides to benefit St. Jude's Children's Hospital. They do these kinds of rides back and forth between the Alamo City and Austin a few times a year. And everyone who rode on that escort donated a minimum of $20 to ride for a good cause. And I know that we spoke to them, and with all of these street takeovers, they want people to know that that's not them. Yeah, that's not them.
Beautiful weather to be out riding around in a car and a bike, taking a walk, doing anything. Gorgeous weather.
Absolutely, and sweater weather in the morning, right? Yay. You know, tonight temperatures have cooled down from the afternoon high. Here's a look at the time lapse in the almanac for the day today. Gorgeous mix of sun and clouds. We started off at 37. We topped off at 67. That, my friends, is a 30-degree jump from the start of the day to the afternoon. And guess what? We're going to do it all again tomorrow. Here's a look at your KSAT 12-hour forecast. Waking up at 37 degrees in the early morning hours tomorrow. There could even be a very light freeze up in the hill country. Normal this time of year. Otherwise, we're going to warm up quickly. 50 by 10. Noon will be at 59 and mostly sunny. In the afternoon, you'll notice that the winds are going to pick up from the southeast, sustained at about 15 miles per hour, but we'll see a few gusts of up to 25 to 30 miles per hour. So a bit of a breeze outside. But when we talk about a wind gust of 30 miles per hour, that is nothing compared to the winds we're going to be seeing on Monday and Tuesday. 65 for the high in San Antonio. It'll be 64 in New Braunfels, 68 in Del Rio, 60 in Rock Springs, 71 in Cotulla, 68 in Beeville, and 69 in Pleasanton. So what's up with the weather? What do you need to know? By Monday, it is going to be somewhat damp in the morning hours. We've got a brief opportunity, a brief window for rain. But by Monday afternoon into Tuesday, it's going to get very windy. And then finally, we'll talk about some Arctic air, at least some good signs that we're going to be seeing some Arctic air very soon. Weather setup for you. Big system off across the Northeast, bringing snowfall. Some of these areas in the Northeast getting their first decent snow in about a year and a half, 2 years. Meanwhile, off to the west, there's another system in its wake. This is the system that's going to be bringing us gusty winds on Monday and Tuesday. First, though, we'll see an opportunity for rain early on Monday morning. You can see in San Antonio, we'll see a few isolated showers, some areas of drizzle, perhaps even a rumble of thunder. But the biggest impact from this system is going to be the winds. Take a look at wind gusts across the state of Texas. By Monday evening, we'll see wind gusts of up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. Not only all across the state of Texas, but also right here in San Antonio. Potential wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour Monday night into Tuesday. By the morning commute, it's still going to be breezy on Tuesday. But by Tuesday afternoon, those winds will subside. So what can you do tomorrow to prepare for the gusty winds on Monday and Tuesday? First, secure that lightweight patio furniture. Even lighter trampolines and lightweight carports that are not really firmly anchored to the ground could end up getting knocked around. And by the way, I did this today. I put up my Christmas decorations, put away my Christmas decorations. So if you have those, put those away too. Trees, trim those trees near power lines just in case you get one of those stronger gusts of wind. And then finally, I have to remind you that we're in the middle of mountain cedar season. So anytime we get a gusty wind from the northwest, cedar is likely to increase. So after that front moves through with that opportunity for rain early on Monday, it'll be windy on Tuesday, but high of 59. Nice on Wednesday and Thursday. Then by Friday, it's going to get pretty windy as well behind a front. Then I want to talk about what we are watching. We're watching how Arctic air will likely spill across the United States. The first Arctic air of the season. It could enter into San Antonio the week of January 15th. So not this next week, but the following week. What would the issue be for us? A brief hard freeze. We're not talking about prolonged cold. So that's some good news. And I do not see any signals that would suggest ice or wintry precipitation, just our usual hard freeze, first hard freeze of the season.
Good to know. At least we can plan ahead.
Absolutely.
I know you guys have it on the app.
In the meantime, hold on to your cowboy hats on Tuesday. They might blow off your head. But if you're a Texans fan, you might have been throwing your cowboy hats up into the air tonight after they clinched a spot in the playoffs.
Yes, a thrilling game and a win or go home game. Rookie C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins answered the call. The Houston Texans are playoff bound for the first time since 2019 thanks to their big win over the Colts tonight. The top high school football prospects across the country and in San Antonio took the turf inside of the Alamo Dome today. We'll relive the action coming up after the break.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Many people say the playoffs really begin week 18, and it's hard to disagree when we have a win or go home game between the Texans and Colts. First play of the game for Houston. C.J. Stroud launches a deep ball down the middle to Nico Collins. Collins gets in for an explosive 75-yard touchdown. Texans lead 7-3. Second quarter, the lethal duo generates another big play. Collins racks up the yak off the screen. And the Texans find pay dirt soon after as C.J. Stroud hits Andrew Beck for a 1-yard TD strike in the back of the end zone. Houston goes into halftime up 14-3. The Colts came out of the intermission with a much better feel for the game after forcing a Houston punt. Jonathan Taylor makes a house call from 49 yards out. The Colts' two-point conversion was a success, so we are all square. A couple of field goals later, 17-17. Devin Singletary caps off the Texans' drive in the fourth quarter with a 3-yard touchdown, though the PAT is no good. So with a minute left, Colts go for it on 4th and 1, down 6, and Tyler Goodson can't make the catch, and that seals the deal. The Texans improved to 10-7, defeating the Colts 23-19, clinching a playoff berth in D'Amico Ryan's first season as head coach. Stroud finished with 264 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Nico Collins went a perfect 9 for 9 for 195 yards. So time now to root for the Titans over Jacksonville tomorrow for the AFC South title. The only other NFL game today, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Lamarless Baltimore Ravens. Ravens already have the top spot in the AFC locked up, so Tyler Huntley got the start, and Steelers QB Mason Rudolph led the way to victory for Pittsburgh. Their postseason fate is now in the hands of other teams as they did all they could do with the win. The temperature at kickoff for tomorrow's Cowboys-Commanders game is supposed to be 49 degrees, but tonight, very rainy and cold. This evening, Larry Ramirez and photog Billy Caldera are in Maryland trying to stay warm, with more on the Week 18 tilt that has huge playoff implications.
Yeah, thank you, Mary, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to College Park, Maryland, where the Dallas Cowboys will stay the night before they close out the regular season tomorrow afternoon at the Washington Commanders, and then things really get exciting with the NFL playoffs. All right, led by head coach Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys flew in today, and they arrived at their team hotel around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. The math is simple for the boys. Beat the Commanders, win the NFC East, grab the 2 seed behind the 49ers, and guarantee them at least 2 home playoff games, assuming the Cowboys win in the wild card round. Linebacker Micah Parsons was asked, how do you balance what's on the line Sunday without overthinking it?
I mean, it should really just be the same. I mean, really, if you think about from week one, you playing for the division, you playing for playoff hopes, you playing for Super Bowl hopes. So I really don't think anything has changed. We're playing for the same thing we've been playing since week one. So mentality or anything else should not be different. At least for me, I'm treating this the same game as I would treat the Rams when we played the Seahawks. It's all fighting for the division, but now that, we might have the lead or whatever it may be, it doesn't change that we need to go out here and get a division win.
Quarterback Dak Prescott says he's treating this like a playoff game. We'll have more Cowboys Commanders tomorrow night live on Instant Replay. Mary, back to you in San Antonio.
Thank you, Larry. Looks so cold. Kickoff is at 3:25. The Cowboys are 13-point favorites, but with so much riding on this game, I'm sure Dallas can't help but feel the pressure. Like Larry said, we'll have full coverage from the action on Instant Replay. All right, a full week of practices in San Antonio led us to the official kickoff of the 2024 All-American Bowl. 100 highly touted prospects in the nation wrapping up their high school football careers in a high-profile ball game inside of the Alamo Dome. James Peoples, a four-star recruit signed with Ohio State, representing Veterans Memorial on the East team. It's East versus West. Peoples rushed twice for 2 yards and caught one pass for 4 yards for the East team. There were many highlight plays to come out of the afternoon. One day we'll look back at some of them when they're playing in the NFL. West won the game 31-28, and like others with their respective teams, Peoples will next join the Buckeyes football team. The San Antonio All-Star Game followed for another display of great football talent in the Alamo Dome, featuring over 100 senior standouts from the area, including John Jay QB Jackson Gutierrez, the Navy commit, who throws a beautiful ball off his back foot to East Central's Austin Vivier for the touchdown. Team Gold got on the board before halftime as Warren's Antonio Meza hits King Johnson in the back of the end zone. What an incredible catch, and it's Team Gold scoring the rest of the way for the All-Star Game victory, 25-7. All right, coming up later in the show, we'll preview tomorrow's clash between the 5-29 Spurs and 20-15 Cavaliers.
Facing the guys from the land. We'll look forward to that.
We'll be right back. This father and son were arrested in the Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra death investigation on Wednesday night.
But before their bodies were found back on December 26th, a clear alert was issued to help find Soto.
The night team's Patty Santos digs into the history of the clear system and why an alert to find Soto wasn't issued sooner.
On Friday, December 23rd, Leon Valley Police say they got a welfare check request from the family of Savannah Soto. The expectant mother and her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, were last seen on the previous afternoon at their Grissom Road apartment in a gray Kia. On Sunday, December 24th, Leon Valley Police told KSAT there was not a missing persons report and that there was no cause for concern. But the next day, on Christmas, Leon Valley Police issued a clear alert for Soto through the Texas Department of Public Safety. Today, we asked Leon Valley Police Chief David Gonzalez why the clear alert wasn't issued sooner. He declined our request for an on-camera interview. He did say that initially detectives were sorting out all the information they were receiving to determine what could be going on with the couple.
There has to be some indication that their disappearance was life-threatening and involuntary.
Allison Steele helped the clear alert become law in 2019, nearly 2 years after her daughter, Kaylee Mandati, was murdered.
The clear alert is like an Amber Alert for adults. It basically was developed to cover the gap between the Amber Alert for children and the Silver Alert for older people.
She says criteria for the clear alerts help ensure it's not overused and the public doesn't become desensitized.
There has to be less than 72 hours passed since they disappeared. So we're talking about fresh cases here.
In addition, a person must be between 18 and 64 years of age, and there has to be enough information to give to the public, like a suspect or vehicle information to help locate them. Steele says investigations have a lot of moving parts.
Outside of the law enforcement domain, sort of are left asking questions as to why it didn't go out sooner or why it didn't go out at all sometimes. But the thing to remember is we just don't know. These are active police investigations. So those of us, outside of those agencies don't really know what the evidence is on the table.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
Now let's take a turn here and think about, we did not have a white Christmas, but over here in Amarillo, they're having a white start to 2024 with the first winter storm. Look at that out there. That's beautiful. I didn't even see any snow when I was up in Ohio.
Is that beautiful, Tim? I don't know. We have different versions of beautiful.
Myself.
Our weather here is beautiful, and he's trying to convince himself that it'll be fine in Ohio.
I did enjoy wearing shorts today.
The viewing area there is expecting up to 6 inches, so I would say that's not like a light dusting.
No.
That's a decent snowfall, and
That
that same system that is bringing them snow brought us really nice weather here in San Antonio today. So the tale of two seasons. Outside right now with live cam, it's fairly quiet, but this was our view a little bit earlier. Outside, we had a great view of the sunset this evening. I asked for pictures, and this was out in New Braunfels. Gorgeous cotton candy skies there. Now tomorrow we wake up at 37 degrees in San Antonio. Some of our viewing area will experience a light freeze early tomorrow morning. I'll show you those morning lows in just a bit. Otherwise, it's going to be a breezy and beautiful day, a high of 65. But after tomorrow, things really start to change for us because by Monday, we could have some areas of rain, especially in the morning. And then by Monday evening, it's going to get very windy. Wind gusts of up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. And something we've been tracking for a while, some Arctic air could be moving into San Antonio during the week of January 15th. So a while away, but we've already got our eyes on it. I'll tell you what you need to know coming up.
Enjoy this weather while it lasts. All right, thanks, Sarah. Well, we are now 9 days away from the Iowa caucuses, and President Biden delivered his first campaign speech of the year, timing it to coincide with the 3rd anniversary of the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
Yeah, meanwhile, Republican candidates are crisscrossing the Hawkeye State ahead of the caucuses on January 15th, including former President Donald Trump, who still holds a large lead over the other Republican candidates in all the polls. ABC's Mary Alice Parks has the latest from Iowa.
With fewer than 10 days to go, Republican candidates crisscrossing Iowa in their final push for early votes. Former President Trump with multiple events in Iowa this weekend.
We're going to win a third time, and we're going to bring our country back like never before.
Even on the anniversary of the January 6th attack on the Capitol, when a mob tried to stop the certification of the vote, Trump continuing to push his big lie that he won the 2020 election and already casting doubt on this coming election, too. His challengers with back-to-back events of their own, hoping to shake up the race with strong showings here in the Iowa caucuses.
And God bless President Trump. He's been on a temper tantrum every day about me.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in Davenport, Iowa.
So the choice on January 15th, I think is very simple. Donald Trump is running for his issues. Nikki Haley's running for her donors' issues. I'm running for your issues.
President Biden marking 3 years since January 6th with a forceful rebuke of Trump, accusing the former president of using violence to cling to power.
This is the first national election since January 6th. Insurrection placed a dagger at the throat of American democracy since that moment. We all know who Donald Trump is. The question we have to answer is, who are we?
This week, Trump included among the list of candidates certified by Colorado's Secretary of State to be at this point on the state's Republican primary ballot. But the U.S. Supreme Court with a historic announcement Friday saying that it will take up a case to see whether he can be disqualified from that state's ballot under the 14th Amendment, having to do with whether he engaged in insurrection on January 6th. The Supreme Court justices fast-tracking the case, set to hear oral arguments next month. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, North Liberty, Iowa.
Still ahead, fed up and frustrated are just two ways to describe how a neighborhood feels about the air quality where they live. Next on the Nightbeat, why they say the problem could be threatening their health. Fed up, frustrated, and concerned. That's how neighbors who live near a scrapyard on Frio City Road say they feel.
When they gathered for a community meeting 2 months ago, they were worried about the air quality there. Now neighbors are taking their concerns to city and state leaders.
As some tell the night team's Avery Everett, they believe their health is on the line.
Even in a new year,
nobody should have to live that way, right?
this neighborhood is dealing with old problems.
I tell people, imagine living in a war zone.
Residents around Frio City Road are frustrated.
Who knows what could happen? Who knows what we're all breathing in?
The neighbors we spoke to believe one scrap center is hurting their health after reports of smoke, fires, and explosions.
Eventually, our problem is going to become everybody else's problem.
KSAT 12 archives show this has been happening for years, with the most recent fire in September and a community meeting held to address the concerns in November.
We finally got the attention that we were asking for. We finally started getting answers.
In the new year, these neighbors are writing testimonials, hoping to hand deliver these concerns to city and state leaders, including the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ. What appears to be smoke is lingering around the sky of Monterey Iron on Thursday night, but it's nothing as bad as that fire from back in September. Now, a couple of months after that fire, we know TCEQ did an investigation into the situation, but they wrapped up that investigation by the end of 2023, meaning that there have been 32 total investigations into the salvage yard, but 7 of those have been in the past 2 years. And now, in 2024, there are no more open investigations. In a statement sent this week to KSAT 12, a spokesperson for Monterey says they have, quote, invested heavily in detection systems, mitigation systems, safety planning, and expert hazard prevention. But with sites like these, neighbors say they're far from giving up.
My hope for 2024 is that there is a resolution to this problem and that the folks who are supposed to be policing are actually policing.
Taking this new action now in 2024. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
And we did try to get a comment from District 5 Councilwoman Terry Castillo. A spokesperson released a statement which in part says Castillo filed a council consideration request in November to update city codes for recycling facilities. Another look at weather when we return.
After being up north for the holidays and putting on a coat every time you have to go outside and no
How was it today?
It was nice to wear shorts. I wore a sweater on top, but it was warm enough.
See, he's going to miss something.
I am definitely.
Even if it's not us.
I'll miss you guys too.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, you heard it. You heard it right here.
And only the weather from probably November to early March.
And then he'll call us bragging when it's
in
110.
the summertime, right? When it's 100 here and it's beautiful out there. But today was a beautiful day, guys.
It was.
We
Gorgeous.
got up to 67 degrees this afternoon after a cold morning. Here's a look at those neighborhood highs for the day today. It was 70 in Hondo. Del Rio, you got up to 72, 65 in Kerrville, 69 in New Braunfels, 74 down in Laredo. But tonight it's going to get cold overnight. We're going to wake up in the 30s tomorrow morning, 37 in San Antonio, 34 in Del Rio, 32 though in Kerrville. So a light freeze in the hill country. That's the way it was this morning. That's the way it will be tomorrow morning. Just a very light freeze, but then a lot like today, we're quickly going to warm. By 10, it'll be 50 degrees. By noon, 59, mostly sunny in the afternoon, and then 65 for the high. Now in the evening, we're going to see clouds return and drizzle could start as early as midnight tomorrow, but a beautiful day during the day. One thing to keep in mind is it will get a little breezy during the day tomorrow. We'll have wind gusts of up to 25 to 30 miles per hour in the afternoon, but that's nothing compared to the wind gusts we're going to see on Monday as this low pressure system moves through Texas. First, though, I want to talk about the opportunity for rain with this next system. By early Monday morning, the morning commute, there will be areas of mist and drizzle. And on top of that, a few light showers embedded as well. If you live east of I-35, closer to Seguin, Gonzales, out toward Hallettsville, there may be 1 or 2 storms early on Monday morning as well. But the big thing with this, the big area where storms will be possible with the cold front is going to be in East Texas. The biggest thing that will impact us here in San Antonio in South Central Texas is not the rain. It's the winds. Winds are going to be gusting from the northwest up to 40 to 50 miles per hour Monday night through Tuesday morning. That is nothing to mess with. Those are pretty gusty winds. To put that in perspective for you, a severe wind gust measures at 58 miles per hour. So not as strong as that, but pretty up there. These are strong wind gusts, 40 to 50 miles per hour early on Tuesday morning. So just make sure that your lightweight patio furniture is either brought inside or secured and put away those Christmas decorations that might still be up from Christmas a week ago. Very windy on Monday and Tuesday behind that front. 59 on Tuesday, 65 on Wednesday. Thursday will be at 71. Then a front is going to move through on Friday and bring windy conditions. What I'm showing you here is beyond the 7-day forecast. Arctic air will be moving in the week of January 15th. So not this week, but the following. What could we expect here in San Antonio? Well, I think a brief hard freeze is starting to look likely that week, but no wintry precipitation at the moment, and we'll keep you posted about that.
And if you didn't notice, Sarah has her cloud and lightning earrings on.
My periwinkle cloud and lightning earrings. Hoping to get some good rain in the rain gauges early Monday.
Well, it wasn't a 50-mile-an-hour breeze, but Mary came in here very quickly to tell us more about the Texans tonight.
Yeah, I was hoping to get you guys sound from head coach D'Amico Ryans, but I couldn't get it in. Here's this instead, the locker room celebration after the Texans clinched the playoffs and eliminated the Colts. Plus, the Spurs are in Cleveland tomorrow for a noon tip-off, and we'll give you the latest regarding Wemby's minutes restriction.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
The Houston Texans have officially clinched a playoff spot at the helm of their rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud and first-year head coach D'Amico Ryans. And the locker room celebration after Houston's 23-19 victory over the Colts tonight reflects a team that beat the odds. Tonight, C.J. Stroud was 20 of 26 with 264 yards and 2 passing touchdowns, and Nico Collins had 9 catches for 195 yards and a score. The 10-7 Texans are headed to the playoffs for the first time since 2019, and they've won 7 of their final 10 games to be in the position they are right now to potentially win the AFC South title if Jacksonville loses to Tennessee tomorrow. Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs are in Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers tomorrow afternoon. Now, since spraining his ankle December 23rd, Wembanyama has been on a minutes restriction. Head coach Greg Popovich says whether or not the restriction will be lifted is dependent on the results when the medical staff re-examines his ankle, which will happen soon, but we don't know exactly when. Wembanyama talked about his minutes after Thursday's game against the Bucks.
Of course, I can't spend the whole game on the floor, but it felt like I made those minutes count. And we managed to keep me in enough minutes so I could be in the court at the end. And I mean, the management was good, but I mean, yeah, until pretty much as good as we can do it until I can play full minutes, you know.
Tomorrow, the Spurs should have more help. Malachi Branham is probable to play after missing the last game with a right ankle sprain. Branham back likely means he will reclaim his starting spot from Trey Jones, and I know a lot of people watching have an opinion about that.
Oh, yes, they do. I'm sure you'll talk about it tomorrow in Instant Replay and get everyone's opinion.
Yes.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank
you.
you.
We'll be right back.